So
Padmanabham, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Enterprise AI Architecture and the Modern AI Stack. I was wondering if you could take a moment to talk to all of us a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do and what your book is about and who it's for.
yeah, so my name is Padmanabham Venkiteela. So I work for a Trelex. So I'm an enterprise integration architect, along with that uh, AI architect. So recently I have authored um, one book. It became a huge, and I have to separate it two volumes. It's all about different layers. Each layer have there are a bunch of stacks, right? LLMs, you see so many LLMs, protocols, so many protocols, agent frameworks, many rags, different ways you can build. And the development side also, there are so many vibe coding tools, right? And training perspective and fine tuning, machine learning operation point of view, different tools, and monitoring point of view, um, different observability tools is available. So governance point of view also in the open market. Every vendor have different things. All this book is I'm trying to do a design perspective as a first book. Number two, second book is running the entire the stack. How do you monitor and governance about it? So holistically, I have picked a top 10 each category. Let's take a foundation of the models. What type of models is available? Each model I have talked about the details. So like that, um, um, about a 500 pages in the first book covered about all the foundation of the models, um, top 10 tools like Anthropic, whatever you talk, Cloud, OpenAI, Google, um, X, Grok, right?
Yeah.
And Meta, Mistral, DeepSeek, Alibaba, and Moonshot. So these are all the top 10. What models they have, what capabilities they have. Currently, they are in the top of the leaders, right? In the AI space. So I talked about little about the foundation models. Then interoperability point of view. So there are different protocols is available. Open protocol, and AI gateways. I talked about MCP, A2A, agent-to-agent protocols, and OpenRouter by using uh, how we can able to leverage things like LLM. So those I talked about in layer two. Layer three is agent framework, right? There are different frameworks is available while building a agent. So using a LangGraph or a Cloud agent or a OpenAI agent SDK, even Google Gemini also, they have their own agent kit, right? CrewAI, Autogen. So so basically level four, it's a layer three. I talked about all these agent frameworks. So then fourth layer is mostly the database and memory, right? And that is a key thing for even to manage under AI space. So vector database where you will store the data. So what are all the vector databases available in the market? Pinecone, Vivid, Chroma, and Jilja. So these are all the different vector databases, the core capabilities, how we can leverage, what is good, what could be the pricing, which one, which use case point of view is the better suit for us as a unknown person is jumping onto the market. Every day, hundreds of tools is available. I talk top notch vector databases. I try to cover, and same thing, embedded models, right? A different models is available, text embedding, coherent embedding. So some of those things I talked about, embedding models. So any data before you store into the database, you need to embed it and to convert into a text language into the machine language. Then you dump into the database. So that is what embedded. So how they do, and I talked about it. And next is a retrieval orchestration. So after retrieving, there is a lang chain and llama index workflows is available. How do you orchestrate things, right? So those I talked about. So this is all related to layer four. And also structured memory system. So there is a new graph rag. A little bit I talked about it. Long context. How do you deal? There are different things is available. LLM, Lingua, Anthropic, prompt catching, long context models. So some of these are just touch based. This is also related to memory. How do you orchestrate? What kind of memory? All the database, it will come under that. Layer 5 is mostly coding. What kind of coding tools is available? I talked about Claude Code, Cursor, GitHub Copilot, right? So these are all the things. Then code evaluation and benchmarking. So some of the tools I talked. So every layer, top 10 I try to cover. 10 layers into 10 tools. It's about 100 tools, top-notch tools. If you're anyone is wanted to jump on a AI space, these are all the basic foundation. Without knowing, right? If you pick a middle of the layer, you won't be knowing end to end. If you have a clarity end to end, from the data to all the layers, what is happening when you build agents, how do you monitor, how to build, what is needed, kind of a layers. So those are all the 5 layers I talked about. First book and second book, once you start building that code, right? How do you manage the things? So the second book I talked about training and ML ops, training platforms. So if you wanted to build your own model, how do you build those models? How do you train the data by giving and how do you fine tuning? There are different things, different tools is available. Hugging Face is one of them, right? Weight bias, by providing a weights and biases, you can train, fine tune the models. Fine tuning point of view also, Hugging Face is available, um, Unsloth is available, and couple of tools I talked in that layer. Next one is interfacing and serving, right? Interface engines and serving infrastructure. So there is NVIDIA, Ray, BentML, Together AI interface, Firework AI, VLLM, some of these tools I talked about in that layer. Next, observability. So once you host the things in a production, how is the things is happening? There is a LangFuse, Erija Phoenix, Helicon, right? Langsmith also one of them. Datadog, Open LLM Metry. So they're all, it's a monitoring on a day-to-day basis. If you have in enterprise world, more than one agents are running, always monitoring how much usage it is happening, so that it will be a observability point of view. What tool it will be good in enterprise perspective, I covered about it. Then finally, governance, right? Um, so there are different way of hacking, how to do a prompt injection, how do you make your agent is safe enough to handle those things, and security testing and compliance governance. So those aspects I try to touch base a couple of tools. How do you implement guardrails, right? And ML flow model registry, um, the Cisco AI defense. So it's a more security related how you can protect. What are all the guardrails you can implement when you have an enterprise world. I talked about it. So these are all the main things I try to cover. So and also I try to cover enterprise AI point of view. Why you need first of all AI? Are you going to get a real ROI? What is the AI economics and business value and AI platform? Some of the maturity model. So if you are an architect, what are all the things you need to review as a checklist? So those I try to cover on a book too. So
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for that really comprehensive explanation. I mean, it was great to have you go through the nine layers. One thing I love how you start the book, and the preface is like, this book exists because the AI tooling landscape of 2026 had become impossible for any single architect to hold in their head. And actually, one of the reasons that's such a great opening is because your books have, just knowing that your two books kind of have everything in them, you know, even before you've read them or when you start going into them and reading them, just knowing that it's there, that the comprehensive, systematic, kind of theoretical way you've put everything together is there for you as a software architect to engage with these tools and stuff like that. And one thing I just wanted to point out, you also mentioned in the preface that an architect facing a specific decision can navigate directly to the relevant chapters, comparison matrix, and tool profiles. So in addition to being this big comprehensive work, it's also a reference tool that you can use to solve problems or address questions and issues and stuff like that. And if you buy it for your team, you can point your team members to it and you can have this shared resource. It's a really amazing work. The title is Enterprise AI Architecture and the Modern AI Stack. There's volume 1 and volume 2 that covers everything that Padmanabham just talked about. So thank you very much, Padmanabham, for taking the time to do this video. And thank you so much for these great books and for using Leanpub as a platform to publish them.